It's a great pleasure for me to welcome to this fantastic event, taken on the initiative of the Norwegian Embassy in Copenhagen. And this event and this initiative is really highly appreciated. It's timely and highly interesting. It's timely because we right now focus so much on biological processing, biological processes, health, food and healthy food, but also important and for us, all of us here, because these are areas of Nordic strength. So this initiative again is so much appreciated, and I hope we will have and expect to have a really interesting webinar today. So it's great pleasure for me to leave the chair to the ambassador, Colbert. You're welcome. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Today's webinar is a follow-up of a physical event at the Norwegian Embassy over 1 year ago on the scope of Danish-Norwegian cooperation in life science. Little did we know that a year later, the whole world looks to life science to bring us all back to normal from COVID-19 through developing tests, vaccines, and treatment, but also by creating new jobs, economic growth, and international cooperation. If we are to reach the SDGs as a global community, we need to find ways to sustainable harvest a larger part of the proteins, enzymes, and medicines we need from the ocean. The life science sector in Denmark has grown to become a major contributor to Danish export, welfare, and employment. Norway has a competitive advantage, especially in the north, with cold waters and strong expertise when it comes to use the marine biomass in innovative and sustainable ways. The embassy believes there is a large potential for even stronger cooperation between Danish and Norwegian researchers and companies in the life science sectors. Today's webinar provides an arena for learning more and to meet and talk on Zoom. We hope we can follow up this initiative next year and again invite for a physical meeting in the residence. In conclusion, I would like to thank our partner biotech North in this webinar and also Lene Lange for guiding us safely through it. Have a wonderful webinar. Thanks.
Yes. On behalf of Biotech North, I also would like to welcome everyone to this first webinar we do in collaboration with the Norwegian Embassy in Copenhagen. I would like to thank the ambassador for her great commitment and to her staff for the good cooperation. Ideally, we should be there in Denmark with you today, but we can only hope that in the not too far distant future, we can meet face to face. In any case, it's exciting for us in Biotech North to embark on something that will hopefully be a long-term collaboration with Danish and European stakeholders within life science. Biotech North is a knowledge-based industry cluster within marine biotechnology and biomarine sector. We are located in Tromsø, in northern Norway, and serve the biotechnology sectors in the whole region. Our members represent industry within pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, food and feed, cosmetics, medical devices and diagnostics, aquaculture and fisheries, and university and institutes for applied research. The cluster will be a driver for the development and commercialization of high-value products from marine residual raw materials, new raw material sources, and marine bioprospecting. Because yes, the ocean has for sure great potential to give healthy and tasty food for even more people in the future, but the ocean offers so many more solutions that the world needs, and the marine biotechnology will be an important tool to utilize these. And in Norway, we have some good advantages. Within Northern Norway lies one of the most rich and biologically diverse natural environments in the entire world. Many of the organisms in this area have had to adapt to their bodies over time to be able to survive in this harsh environment, leading to the development of cold-adapted properties that can be used as basis for products and processes within various industries. And along our coast, we have good access to residual raw materials from fishing and aquaculture. And we have solid research and resource management, which means that we can now also harvest low trophic species, such as the marine copepod Colonus finmarchicus. And through our research expeditions and other research, our knowledge institutions in Tromsø do a solid job in marine bioprospecting, targeted and systematic search for components, bioactive compounds, and genes within marine organisms. So with marine biotechnology, bioprocessing, and bioprospecting, there are enormous opportunities. And therefore, I'm so glad that we today can give you a little insight into some of our Biotech North members, their knowledge, the knowledge they possess, and solutions that they create for the future. Then we look forward to getting to know you a little bit better through the conversations in the smaller groups after the presentations. And that in the future, we also can find new meeting places where we can meet and talk about future cooperations between our countries. So a warm welcome to everybody. And with that, Lena, I think we should start. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both to Line from Biotech North and not the least her, Madam Ambassador. It's really been a very good introduction. Let me just, in going to the presentation, try to emphasize two more points. One point is, looks like, glancing through the list of participants, that we have a wealth of expertise and relevant players and stakeholders in the webinar room today. So warm welcome to all of the expertise. We hope that will come to play during the webinar. The other part is that I'm so happy that it will be such important and internationally relevant companies, which are two companies and one research group, which will take the floor. So here it's Marbio, it's Arctic Science, it's Marialis, and here we have already introduced Biotech North. So with those, welcome to the first presentation by Marbio from the Arctic University of Norway, and that will be given by Jeanette Hammer. Take it away.
Thank you for the opportunity to present Marbio. I put a subtitle on this as Marine Bioactive Compounds as a Source for New Drugs. So, let me see. So what we are focusing on is marine natural product drug discovery, starting with the Arctic marine organisms that we go out, collect, bring them into the laboratory to test them for various applications for bioactivity, then trying to identify really novel chemistry that again will be optimized further, and then hopefully a starting point for preclinical development, and through clinical development end up as new products and new medicine in the other end of the pipeline. As I pointed out here, moving from the academic research by identifying and testing is very important to have the industry involved as early as possible, and especially for the preclinical development. So this is a simplified pipeline, but anyways, demonstrates all most important part of it. And Marbio, our research group, is an analytical platform focusing on biodiscovery. Our main focus, even though we try to work along the whole pipeline, we are focusing a lot of marine invertebrates, as we think they contain a lot of compounds that could be utilized, but also marine microorganisms are of great interest to search for bioactive compounds. So our focus is a lot on anti-cancer, but also antioxidants, immunomodulatory activity, new antibiotics, diabetes, and also some projects on skincare. And our whole setup is put out to identify really novel chemistry that we could further bring along as a starting point for drug discovery. So the workflow, what happens is that it's a lot of steps, but we have the marine organisms in the lab. We create chemical extracts, and they go through a workflow in our lab where we're trying to purify and identify. We try to test them for various biological activities, like if they can kill cancer cells, antibiotics, but it's not a straight line. Sometimes we go in circles trying to dig out the real active compounds on the other end that will serve as a starting point. So I will now take the opportunity to present some of the projects that we are currently working on, which I hope will catch up some interest and also see where we have come so far with the things that we have brought up from the ocean. So I will start out with telling you a little bit about our breast cancer project that we have here. We are having a lot of cell lines in the lab we are testing for. And here we have a novel marine compound that we tested against cell lines towards a whole list of cancer types. And what we see that we have really activity against also triple negative breast cancer cells. And as you can see in the table below, we have a good activity on the natural product itself before starting the chemical optimization. And we also started to look at pharmacological properties here, and also started to see that we don't see really significant off-target effects at the cytotoxic concentration. And we are currently now doing target identification. We have a clue, but this is a project now funded by Marbio, a local biotech funding organization, and that will go on for the next 6 months to identify the target so that we can come to the next phase to do the chemical optimization and hopefully get more funding, recruit funding and collaborators to develop this further as a breast cancer project. Our next project is a more recent one. We are focusing on diabetes type 1. Here you can see what happens when you have diabetes type 1 is that you have beta cells in the pancreas. If they are destroyed by our own immune systems, the beta cells can no longer produce insulin and thereby leading to excess glucose in your blood. So it's important to protect the beta cells in the in the pancreas so that they can continue producing insulin. So what we have now is a marine compound that we have tested that first, it does not show any toxicity against the important beta cells that are producing. So we see good cell survival. And this is what you do if you treat them with cytokines, the survival are really low, so they get destroyed. So it's important to try to protect them. So our molecule here is showing, when we are treating them, we see good protection against cytokine-induced stress. And we compared it to imatinib, which is in clinical trials for diabetes now. So we see that we have the same good protection of the beta cells in our cell models. Imatinib is actually an anti-cancer drug, but they luckily discovered that these cancer patients, when they were on this, they had a really beneficial, if you had diabetes in addition, they saw this add-on effect that this could also be beneficial for diabetes. So this is an internal project. We have a postdoc working on this, we have here also some idea about the target, but here the phase now is to really dig out the target so that we can really optimize further the chemistry and also qualify further for preclinical studies and in vivo studies. Another project that we are working on is a blood cancer project. It's acute myeloid leukemia. It's a very aggressive cancer type, require immediate treatment, and in particular, patients that have a specific mutation in FLT3. 30% of the AML patients have this. They in particular have poor prognosis and survival. So what we have discovered is that one of our marine-derived compounds bind to these FLT3 inhibitors and really do, we have identified the targets. We do see really good effect in our cells. We also see that it's really novel, it's patentable. We are having some issues with our stability of these compounds, but now we are really optimizing the drug-like properties, trying to maintain the still good binding effect that we have for this important target. And hopefully early next year, we will do a compound selection, and we are planning proof of concept in vivo next fall. So this is a project currently funded through Research Council of Norway. It's a commercialization project because here we have identified the target and are now working on the chemical optimization, starting the preclinical test. This is a collaboration with chemists at University of Bergen and also Norway for the commercialization part for this particular project. So I'm really looking forward for the results next year and to move it into in vivo studies. And then lastly, I want to mention a new project that we started, because now I mentioned a lot about the drug discovery project, but this is a new project where we are, UIT, our coordinator, is a Blue Bio co-fund. And this is more a nutraceutical project focusing on metabolic syndrome, but also identifying novel enzymes. So here, instead of focusing on the invertebrates and the bacteria and fungi, we are working together with fish industry, having rest material, but also microalgae production that we are trying to process in a smarter way, also mining, finding novel enzymes that we will utilize in the biomass processing. And then our responsibility is to application testing and are focusing on metabolic syndrome, which is covering diabetes, high blood pressure, anti-inflammatory conditions. So we're trying to target several of these symptoms coming out of metabolic syndrome. And our goal is to come to scale up to level 7, at least for the biomass, fish biomass. And then we have collaborators where we're going to do ingredient valorization, preclinical testing, and market evaluation. And this will be done in close collaboration with companies. And Maralis, which you will hear from later, is one of the industry responsible for this part. And in the end, our main goal is that we will have natural and safe, well-accepted products coming out of this fish biomass and also the microalgae. So we are just started this project. It's a 3-year project. So we're really looking forward to collaborate in Ireland and Germany. And it's an academic industry collaboration to bring this further. So our job is to try, as a research group, is try to bridge the gap to maximize the potential of the marine natural products. So here you see my same figure here, bringing the things, we're starting to get really good, getting them from the sea and identify novel chemistry, but is now trying to get them over to the industry and the preclinical development. So we are on the bridge now. We're trying to get some projects over this bridge now, and we see that it's a possibility. Not all the research projects deserve that attention. Some of them are special and need to be really good taken care of. So what we see that our Arctic marine biodiversity definitely provides the chemical diversity which is needed as a starting point for clinical development of new medicines. And we also see several projects needs to be in various phases of this pipeline to increase the chance of success, because we know some projects will fail on the way, will not have the optimized properties. But there we have lots of projects I didn't have time to mention, but we also have a lot of antibiotic projects, Marpipe and Digibiotics, which is Horizon 2020 and the Research Council, but also our commercialization projects, which are more to the right end of the pipeline. So we think that this research should still continue, and we definitely still have a strong belief that we will bring things over to the clinic in the future. And of course, our group, we are currently a lot of people. This is a recent group picture, but of course we have a lot of good collaborators in Biotech North, but also around Europe. So we are really in a good position, and we have a lot of different expertise covering chemistry, marine microorganisms to more biomedical applications. And I will just finish off by this. We have seen Dr. Sanjay Gupta a lot in the media now talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. He visited us, and they're definitely focusing a lot on the need for new medicine, especially for new antibiotics. And this was part of a Chasing Life story with Dr. Sanjay Gupta that went on CNN. But now, for the Norwegians at least, this series is available on NRK, and we are part of episode 1 in the beginning, where we are telling a little about the uniqueness of Arctic marine biodiscovery and why we're doing this. Here I'm sitting discussing with Sanjay why we thrive and are happy in the north. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. It was a fantastic presentation. The biobank you have at the Arctic University in Norway is really a fantastic, it's gold. It was good to see that you have now moving into also looking at the upgrade of waste and see if there could be something more to mine there. But right now I have a small question, but for the audience, please indicate in the chat. We have a few minutes. Raise your hands. That's the fastest way you come up. And just on top of the list of participants, if you raise your hands and I can see you want to speak. But in the meanwhile, I'll just ask you, what about the chemistry, which is only expressed in nature in the microbiome, by inspiration, the microorganism interacting? Are you catching and capturing the microbiome biodiversity?
That's definitely a challenge, and some of our new projects are trying to do looking at cultures, co-cultures, trying to, in the beginning, we were not worrying too much about this, about who the real producers are, because we wanted to access the chemistry and use that as a starting point. But now we have a research group that is focusing about how this, how can we trigger them and how can we get them accessing these compounds when they are living in together as symbiosis or in the nature. So we have a research scientist now focusing on studying them like in situ, trying to see if we can cultivate the microorganism in chips in the sea and see if we can access some of the new things. But I didn't mention it, but we also now through genome sequence and also trying to access the biosynthetic gene clusters to really see the potential and not only the chemical that we can directly access when we produce them, but because we see there's a lot of potential just looking at the genes that are present to try to elucidate that.
I don't see anyone raising their hands. Then I would like to use one more minute and asking you one follow-up question. I've had the opportunity a few times to come and visit your fantastic infrastructure and labs there. And I just wonder, this is a gold mine for so much more than drug discovery. This is a gold mine also for the whole bioeconomy, biomass conversion, new types of upgrading for new types of food and feed and health promoting food and feed. So I just wonder, are you intending to kind of broaden your interest instead of specializing so much in drugs?
Yeah, so with this Shermet's project, which is a nutraceutical project, so definitely trying to use our knowledge from the drug discovery, but also building on this. To mention, we also had some cosmetic ingredient projects, but smaller ones, but we do try to be open for companies. So what we have had requests from French companies that have macroalgae or Irish companies. So we're trying to do like document health potential effects for this too. So for us, the platform is open and we really like to be involved in projects, not only focusing on drug discovery, but that's been our main focus from the beginning. But definitely there is an opportunity to even broaden our scope and use our platform for additional bioactivity testing and applications areas.
Excellent answer. That's great. Thank you so much. With this time is exactly at the point in time where we should be according to the schedule, 10:25. And by this, I would like to welcome a presentation from Arctic Science. And I believe it's Olav Lanes who will be giving the presentation. And Olav, please go ahead and give us your, I'm sure, wonderful presentation.
So thank you very much to the organizer for letting me speak today. Arctic Science has a long history of enzyme innovation from the marine Arctic, and our modern history really starts with the shrimp alkaline phosphatase in the early 1990s, and enzymes are in a way active molecules. It's the engines of life, and they have a lot of industrial application. Shrimp alkaline phosphatase has been used for research and genome sequencing for many years, and is a in a way really well-known enzymes in the molecular research field. And on the left, you can see the old manufacturing process, starting with shrimp processing water, leading up to 1 gram of enzyme from a starting material of 4,000 liters. This process was discontinued in 2010, and now it's manufactured by a biotechnological process using an engineered yeast strain. And this kind of manufacturing we are using on all our enzyme products today. Arctic Science, given our location in Tromsø, very in a way north of the Arctic Circle, we say that both we and our products are shaped by the Arctic, and the enzymes that we develop and manufacture are used in molecular research, diagnostics, and biopharmaceutical manufacturing. And we are a commercial supplier serving other industrial customers and have a global market presence, most strongly in the EU and US, but also we have customers in Asia and on the other continents. Main office is in Tromsø, but we also have warehousing in EU and US, in a way helping out the logistics, transporting enzymes from the very far north to all region in the world. We also have a animal health and consumer health group in the company, in the organization, commercializing another technology platform. But in a way, that's more today a non-core business. So today we are focusing more on enzymes. We are about 40 employees in total. We are certified according to 13485, which is a medical device standard required when you develop components also for molecular diagnostics. We have an expanding and innovative product portfolio. I will show you a little bit later on that. And we are a publicly listed company on the Oslo Stock Exchange with a ticker AZT. And today, a profitable company. We sold enzymes for about 70 million Norwegian crowns. That's 7 million euros in the first 9 months of 2020. We serve basically 3 market segments and provide enzymes to the life science tool suppliers. It's the companies out there developing and manufacturing kit for use in molecular research, for DNA, RNA sample prep, amplification, and sequencing technologies. We also serve molecular diagnostic assay developers who make diagnostics assays for virus load and detection, very, in a way, actual today with all the corona tests that are developed, but also bacterial pathogens and HLA typing. We also serve customers in the biopharmaceutical manufacturing segment, companies that develop and manufacture viral vectors for use in cell and gene therapy, for use in DNA vaccines and manufacturing of proteins. The features of our enzymes, in a way, since they originate mostly from the cold adapted environment in the marine Arctic, they have certain, in a way, features. One of them is or many of them are heat labile, which makes them easier to use. It simplifies molecular workflows. Some of them are cold active, which makes them effective at low temperature, so you can preserve biological samples. They are salt tolerant, which makes them compatible with a lot of challenging buffer conditions, and many of them are also unique, having unique specificities and features. And these features makes it possible for our customers to develop faster, easier protocols, having improved sensitivity in the assays, robust performance, cleaner reactions, and greater yield. Our innovation process is, in a way, shown in this figure, and it's kind of similar what Jeanette showed just a minute ago. In a way, we have a long history of collaborating with university partner and in particular with the University of Tromsø here. And I think that I can say that we probably have closed the gap between between the academia and industry, at least in our field of business. And we have collaborated a lot with university partners, having like Jeanette and her group. Those two have been out in the nature, sampling, sequencing, and together with those partners, we have taken part in the screening, feasibility testing, doing engineering and optimization of the enzymes, and at ArcticZymes then we prototype and formulate the enzymes, do product development, making the microorganisms that manufacturing or express the enzymes and a manufacturing process, and then we, in a way, in the end, manufacture and launch. And this is really in a way, in the end, a customer-driven process where, in a way, the customers and market need are, in a way, put into this innovation process. Just a glimpse on our product portfolio, and as you see, there are 7 different enzyme classes here used in molecular workflows for nucleic acid extractions, amplification, and sequencing technologies. Just briefly mention, for instance, this cod-UNG. It's a DNA repair enzyme originating from cod. That enzyme is today a component in a lot of the corona diagnostic test kits out there, bringing in a technology that prevents false positive results. And on the right side here, we have some salt-active nucleases, which are having a very, in a way, strong growth now in the field of biopharmaceutical manufacturing, towards the customers developing and manufacturing viral vectors. Our future, in a way, growth strategy, and we have a goal of achieving a brand position as a non-stop enzyme supplier. And today we have a little bit too few enzymes to in a way have that brand position. So we really want to in a way develop both horizontally and vertically, in a way bringing more of the enzymes that the customer and assay developer need, so we can provide not 3 of 10 components they need to develop an assay, but we want to be able to supply all the components needed. So today we are, in a way, really accelerating our organic growth and innovation pipeline. We are hiring people, and in order to run more product development projects in parallel, and at the same time we are scaling the operations both in people and infrastructure in order to scale the manufacturing and be able to grow with the expanding customer demand and capacity to handle more products. We also have been working for some time with merger and acquisitions, M&A. We are out there screening companies in Europe mostly, trying to find a company that we can buy in order to complement and in a way bring in more products and operational capabilities in order to grow even faster. So that's in a way ArcticZymes in 10 minutes. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Olaf, for this very informative and successful presentation. In that, congratulations with your good business. You gave us the 2020 figures. Let me again invite, if there's anyone who wants to raise a question, raise your hands. it's participant list, and then you can raise your hand there. Let me start by saying that it's wonderful sweet spots of enzymes. You know, I have been 20 years with Novo Nordisk and Novozymes, so I know a little bit about the enzyme, and it's a sweet spot in the sense of price, both in the lab chemicals and in the manufacturing of pharma. But your diagnostics is normally not that easy in order to make profit. And I wonder, you yourself made a really good question or a kind of remark about Corona and the interest of diagnostics. And I wonder, there is another burning platform, and that is, for instance, we have more and more parasites, we have more diseases also in marine life and among fish. Can you reveal any of your thoughts? Are you interested in developing that, which is so much needed?
Well, yes. One of the things that we are, in a way, developing and part of is that we have developed a small suite of isothermal polymerases, which are used in isothermal amplification technologies, and these technologies are really for in a way used for use in the field, not in the laboratory. And when you have that kind of technology, you can bring that into the field, and in a way and countries where you don't have the infrastructures running diagnostics in an advanced lab. So in a way, that's one of the things that we are doing.
Very good. I don't see anyone raising their hands. So another follow-up question. We have time for one more. You very convincingly described you have closed this gap. We are normally from basic research and applied research to commercialization. But where you seek a new collaboration? I mean, we are here in a webinar where many interesting and capacities and so on in the room. Would you like to have a word or say a word more specifically of areas of new accelerating innovation where you need partners or interest in new knowledge?
Yes, absolutely. And anyway, since that innovation process has I think we over the time has successfully in a way developed and launched. I think most of our enzyme products today in a way originates and from the academia and that innovation process shown. And of course we are. It's an important part of our early discovery, and so we are looking for and actively looking for other collaboration and partners in order to both speed and increase the discovery pipeline. So absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ola, for this very good last question also, or answer now, because that's one of the successes of this webinar, if we manage to establish new types of collaboration among the Nordic countries, different parts of expertise. Much of the new things will require more than one type of disciplines we are working on. So very good, thank you so much. With those words of thanks, I would like to continue to the next presentation. And this is the presentation of another highly interesting company, Marialis. And the presentation will be given by Andreas Semmingsen. I hope you are with us and that you're ready to take it from here. The floor is yours.
First of all, Lene, I'm not Andreas Semmingsen. I'm Jaran Raue. I'm the CEO of Marialis Innovation, and I have been heading the development in Marialis up till 2016. Andreas could not participate today, but I will give the presentation of the company. Marialis is a company which is 100% owned by the company Stella Polaris, which is located just south of Tromsø in northern Norway. Stella Polaris is probably the largest producer of cooked and peeled prawns in the world. And the challenge back in, let's say, up to we started our work was that the production generated approximately 6,000 tons of shrimp shell per year, which was just treated as a waste. But that was a challenge and an opportunity to create more value and new products. And we were looking back and forth for opportunities until Mr. Asbjørn Gilberg, which was a researcher at Institute of Fishery Technology here in Tromsø, and now named Nofima, he came and published an article saying that peptides, which is small fragments of protein extracted from the shrimp shell, had a very potent blood pressure lowering effect when he measured it in vitro in his lab. Elevated blood pressure is one of the most important and preventable contributors to disease and death in the Western world. So we thought that this could be an opportunity for Stella Polaris to create more value of what was considered waste, the shrimp shell. So I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of what we have done in order to reach the market. From having a shrimp shell to taking it through the different steps of research and documentation to reach, as I said, to reach the market. Number one is to do in vitro trials to confirm the initial findings. So we asked Nofima, can you please repeat this and tell us again what or confirm that the results reported was correct. Okay, they did, and found very good results back in 2012. With these results, we continued into preclinical animal trials to prove safety and effects. And those trials were done on, or the efficacy studies was done on rats, which was spontaneously hypertensive. So we were able to see, or if we were able to, decrease their natural blood pressure raise through their life, or through 8 years. We proved that pretty good, and we can take the next step into a clinical pilot trial conducted by a CRO in Kuopio in Finland with 78 subjects. And the same goal was to prove safety and efficacy. But the number of subjects was too low to get statistically significant data. So, but with very, let's say, positive results, we considered, or we continued into a full-scale clinical trial at different sites in Canada, in the US, in Germany, and in the Czech Republic. We had 144 subjects, and it was placebo-controlled. Here you can see the results of ACE inhibitors reporting their effect on the red bars. You can see from different trials, they are reporting a blood pressure reduction from -6 and up to -3. Our product is also ACE inhibitor, and our results is reported on the blue bars going down on the right-hand side. And what you can see from the bars or column all on the right hand is that we got a statistically significant blood pressure reduction of -4.8. What we can say from this study is that we have a blood pressure lowering effect from our product, which is comparable to ACE inhibiting drugs. And we, through applications to Health Canada, FDA, USA, and European Food Safety Authority, we have an approved product or a dietary supplement with authorized health claim related to maintenance of a normal blood pressure or a contributor to good cardiovascular health. We have named it or branded it Precardix, and it's released in Canada in 2018. In the US, it will come this year, and EU and other countries will come next year. Today, one of the largest or most important customers are London Drugs, is a big retail chain in Canada. We have run educational programs with the pharmacists in the drug stores, and we have done a pretty comprehensive work in order to get sales. We are also now with Morales Innovation, a sister company, and as Jeanette from Marbio said, we are part of Project SureMeds, which is, as Jeanette says, trying to find bioactive compounds to treat or prevent metabolic syndrome. And all compounds should be found in marine byproducts or algae. We are so lucky in Tromsø that we have the biotec facility where we can do a full-scale production of our products. And that is a technology which is for controlled enzymatic hydrolysis, where we take the raw material in at one end, we add water and enzyme according to our recipes, and we refine and run the hydrolysis through different refinement processes or steps until we spray dry it and get finished product, which is a dry powder, which we, for our case and for Morales' case, we ship it to Canada for tableting and boxing and shipment. We have an ambition on what we have done up to now, and based on the huge resources we have of marine byproducts in the region, we have an ambition of, through 3 to 4 years, establish an innovation center for marine byproducts, where we will have commercial production at the first floor, and we will have labs and location for product development and for people to come in, or for students or other to come and see what we are doing, and if they want take their master degree or maybe a bachelor degree or master degree or a PhD in cooperation with us. So that is our ambition, and we are working with that now. So we are trying to create, or an existing industry, as Stella Polaris is trying to create a new industry, which we hope get up and going through, let's say, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. We were in really good hands with the CEO, as we can hear. I don't think I see anyone raising their hands yet. No, other than I have a question. I really want to. I have Yes, let me start with the first one. I think we all know that high blood pressure is not only a normal threat of life, but it's also putting you in a risk group according to COVID-19 and maybe in other pandemics to follow. So how do you see this? If a well-regulated blood pressure, would that be still be that you inevitably have to be a risk group, or can you have that kind of stability that it will make you even more robust with an epidemic, with such a viral infection?
Yeah, that is of course something we have been looking into, but we are very careful with trying to say that we are not a drug.
No.
So we are for those who are, let's say, pre-hypertensive. If we are saying anything that we are going to, or we hope to, with our product to treat a disease, then the the drug safety authorities will arrest us at once and say you have to take your product out of the market. So, but I'm sure, Lena, that there is a connection there between hypertension and the risk of associated with COVID-19. But we are very careful in least we need more research.
But what I didn't want to say that you should claim that you get a cure. What I'm trying to address is that if you can pull more people out of the risk group.
Yeah.
And this is where with healthy life, with exercise and so on, we know we can do better. But then I also wonder about the blood pressure. But let's not expand too much. But I think we both agree that this is a really highly interesting part. But of course, we should be cautious. I have another and more scientific question, and that is, you are describing on your website and publications that this precardics is lowering blood pressure. You gave convincing data, but you also say that it is in general cardiovascular drug. Is that based on an indirect effect that lowering your blood pressure is good for your cardiovascular system, or is it a direct effect? An add-on effect?
It is related to the fact that it lowers elevated blood pressure, and when you lower elevated blood pressure, it's good for cardiovascular. It's a part of your cardiovascular health. So I didn't mention that we have a peer-reviewed article, and so it's published in the International Journal of Hypertension. So I hope we are on a strong scientific ground here.
Very good. Let me give you also the chance and opportunity to say just one more last comment about are there specific areas of new innovation, especially on your new plant, where you would like and welcome in the audience, the interesting participants here, so they could know when they choose who to go to, which areas you are looking for a new innovation collaboration?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of interesting work within the field of bioactive peptides. We have a lot of data which we would love to explore. What we have, let's say, in our product is 27,000 different unique peptides. We know that some of them are working directly as ACE inhibitors. Some are not working, or others are working in synergy. It could be of great interest to find out more. Is it really necessary to have them all in one product, or could we, let's say for an example, could we refine the product further? What we do know is that if we start refining, is that we lose effect, but we don't know why. So,
I already had an idea. I would like my own company to work with you, but let's not take up that time, the webinar time, with my own interest. So with this, I would like, we still have 4 minutes, and before we are going, and then I will just introduce so the audience can be ready to go to the breakout rooms. Remember, you can choose between 4 different groups. You can go to the Biotech North, or you can go to the Arctic University of Norway, Marbio, or to Arctic Science, or here to Marialis. So you are the one who choose. We have not made any pre-formed groups where you have to follow what organizers decided. I have had so many meetings, and most meetings are distributing people beforehand. We haven't done that. It's your decision where you have the most interest. And going into those, I think it's extremely important that you remember always, I mean, webinars, it's much more fun when we are together. We are not, so we have to be even more extrovert and really come forward with what we have our interest, where we can see that there is something of interest for us. So with those words, please be as active as you can and think forward what could be the extra benefit and successes here, also for you, not just for the webinar as such. Have a really good time in the breakout rooms. Looking forward to welcoming you back in not so long time. Thank you. So I think I would like to welcome everyone back. I cannot see how many we are, but we are getting close to having everyone again. 22 participants, yes, very good. I hope all of you have had just as pleasant experience as I have had. It's been an amazing and highly inspiring breakout session, and I welcome you all back. And I have only 2 minutes or so, 3-4 minutes for final remarks. And if you want to say something, there's still a time for you to raise your hand. But what I would like to emphasize is that right now, we have been, and I think many of you have been following, we are in the process right now. Within the next few months, we will be finalizing and agreeing upon Horizon Europe research program for the next 7 years for all of Europe. We in the bioeconomy, where we are valorizing all kind of residues and side streams and wastes, etc. The blue bioeconomy was taken to a higher level in the BBI, bio-based industries part, and Horizon 2020. However, it was blue bioeconomy was still only a smaller part, and upgrading side streams to higher value products like health and health promoting food supplements were very little in a very small fraction. But if you study Horizon Europe, the new program, which is almost finalized now, then you will see that there is a whole new emphasis on upgrading side stream to higher value product. That means that Horizon Europe sees the bioeconomy to move into health promoting products, move into the area we have in the Nordic countries been pioneering. This is a victory for us, especially for all of us who have been so active in trying to draw Europe in that direction. But it also comes with a certain kind of strings attached, seen from Nordic point of view. And that is that we now have many more in the competition. There will be many who can move fast. There will be the German, there will be in the Netherlands, there will be Italy, there will be Spain, there will be Portugal. There will be many of the leading research groups who will now start looking at upgrading side streams to higher value product, including health drugs, but also especially more healthy food and gut health promoting. So it's good to see here that the Norwegian companies here presented and Biotech North are already in this area and active. However, we need to move even faster because now we are more and more have seen the light. We have a good basis, but we can lose the competitive edge if we don't move fast now. My recommendation in the line of thinking from the Norwegian Embassy in Denmark, taking the initiative, Biotech North, joining as a partner, and 3 interesting presentations. But I can see that we are this kind of thinking, we should reach out among the Nordic countries who have industries and academia and research institutes, all of our countries, including Iceland and Faroe Island and what goes on in Greenland. So it is important for us, if we should keep up with actually what happens where all part of Europe is going in this direction. Not everyone, but there will be initiatives in all of the countries in this direction. There will be funding for it, therefore it will happen. So I am pledging here for that we use this webinar as a stepping stone to reach out and react, take contact, go forward with some of the inspirations you have found of interest of yours, for all your participants from the different areas of expertise, private and public players. I really emphasize, please take it as a stepping stone. And I'm personally also looking forward to that there will be many more initiatives in the area, in this kind of area, in the disciplines, where it's good for making valorization of the Nordic biological resources, and do it for the sake of good livelihood in our own, but also for delivering important products and solutions for the entire world. We can do it. We have a fantastic area here. We have a competitive advantage. Let's use it. Let's move fast and use each other better. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you, Lena, so much. Thank you all for attending today.